You know, we like to think of our homes as these little fortresses, right? Sealed off from the outside world. But what if I told you your house is in a constant, invisible battle with the environment around it? And there's no better place to see that battle than in the one system you almost never look at, your plumbing.
And man, is that ever true. A burst pipe, a sewer backup, that's not just a small problem, it's a full-on everything stops crisis. Suddenly, there's no shower, no flushing toilets, no washing dishes. Your entire daily life just grinds to a halt. But here's where it gets really interesting. What if that single leaky pipe isn't the real problem? What if it's just a symptom of a much bigger story? A story about how the dirt, the weather, and even the trees in your yard are waging a silent war on the pipes right under your feet. To get to the bottom of this, we're going to take a little trip to Hendersonville, Tennessee. Now, from the outside, it looks like any other lovely American town. But underground, it's a perfect storm, a fantastic case study of how a very specific environment can create a relentless set of problems for homeowners. See, the thing about Hendersonville is that these plumbing issues aren't just random acts of bad luck. There's a clear pattern. The same kinds of failures, the clogs, the leaks, the burst pipes, they happen again and again and again. And it's not because of shoddy work or bad parts, it's because of the town itself. So if the town is the problem, what exactly is going on? Well, we've kind of narrowed it down to three main culprits, three hidden forces that are constantly putting pressure on Hendersonville's plumbing. So let's pull back the curtain and meet them one by one. All right, culprit number one is literally the ground beneath their feet. The area is built on this combination of shifting clay soil and limestone. That clay expands and shrinks every time it gets wet or dries out, which physically squeezes and stresses the pipes. But that limestone, well, that causes a whole other kind of trouble. Yeah, so as the water supply trickles through all that limestone, it picks up a ton of minerals, mostly calcium and magnesium. And that creates what we all know as hard water. You can think of it like liquid rock slowly building up inside your pipes, clogging everything up and just wrecking your appliances over time. Okay, on to culprit number two, the Tennessee weather. You've got these really humid hot summers and then winters that dip below freezing. This constant swing from hot to cold forces the pipes to expand and then contract over and over. That constant stress makes the material brittle, and it's a ticking time bomb for cracks and bursts, especially when a cold snap hits. And our third and final culprit? Well, it's actually something beautiful, the trees. Hendersonville has all these gorgeous mature oaks and maples. But underground, their roots are on a mission. They can actually sense the water flowing through sewer lines, and they will hunt down the tiniest crack, worm their way in, and then grow into this massive, pipe-clogging nightmare. So, there you have it, our three suspects: geology, climate, and biology. But the real question is, how can you tell if they're launching an attack on your home? Well, it turns out this underground war sends out some pretty clear warning signals you might already be seeing every day. Does any of this sound familiar? That low water pressure you've been putting up with? That could easily be mineral buildup from hard water. That weird gurgling sound your toilet makes? Uh-oh, that could be a sign of tree roots starting to block things up. And those mysterious wet spots in the yard? Classic red flag for a main line break caused by shifting soil. These aren't just little annoyances, they're your house crying for help. And this chart here, it just lays it all out, plain and simple. You can draw a straight line from each of our culprits to a very specific problem. Hard water leads to clogged faucets. Shifting soil causes those awful slab leaks. The freeze-thaw cycle gives you burst pipes. And tree roots? Yep, they're the #1 reason for a nasty sewer backup. It's a perfect storm of pressure, all aimed at your home. Okay, so that's the story in Hendersonville, but here's the most important part. This isn't just a Hendersonville story. Every town, every neighborhood has its own unique set of environmental challenges. So what could we take away from this that applies to pretty much any home, anywhere? Well, the way the pros handle this stuff isn't by guessing. It's a really clear three-step process. First, they diagnose. They actually use little cameras to go inside your pipes and see exactly what's going on. Is it roots? Is it corrosion? They find out for sure. Second, they give you a clear plan with options. And finally, and this is so important, they verify the fix. They pressure test it to make absolutely sure the problem is solved for good. A huge part of the solution is just fighting back with smarter materials. Take copper pipes, for instance. They're strong, but they're rigid, so they can burst when they freeze, and hard water can corrode them. But modern PEX piping is different. It's a flexible plastic, so it can actually expand a little if it freezes, which makes it way less likely to burst. and it doesn't corrode from mineral buildup. Choosing the right material is your best line of defense. And that really brings us to the big takeaway here. Your plumbing isn't just a bunch of pipes sitting in isolation. It's in a constant conversation with its environment. It's reacting to the soil, to the climate, to the trees, to everything. And simply understanding that this conversation is happening is the absolute first step to protecting your home.
So the next time you hear that toilet gurgle or you notice the drain is a little slow, don't just write it off. Stop and ask yourself, what is my environment trying to tell me right now? What's the secret story my neighborhood is telling through its little creaks and drips? Because listening to that story might just save you from a major headache down the road.